Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Kiana. If you're new here, welcome, and if you've been here before, welcome back. So you clicked on this video and you're probably wondering what giving birth is like. So I'm gonna go all into the depths of what it's like giving birth. I've given birth 2 times. So I had my first birth was a hospital birth, medicated, and my second birth was a home birth unmedicated. So the first question I'm going to answer is, what do contractions feel like? So I'm sure you've probably heard a lot of things that is most likely confusing you. Some people be like, it's similar to period cramps, and other people is like, no, it's way too extreme to compare the two. And to be honest, that's probably because people have different pain tolerances as well as different experience leading up to giving birth. I always had very bad period cramps, and just overall like the whole time was bad. So but the cramps were way bad. So coming from that perspective, I would say that contractions are very similar to my period cramps. They're, in my opinion, just as painful. So if you had bad period cramps before, where you had to like call out of work or something like that, maybe it will be comparable to giving birth. Also, a thing to know about contractions is they come in waves. When you have your period, it's kind of like a constant pain. At least for me, it's like a constant pain for a couple days, and then it like subsides. Whereas with contractions, you have like a contraction and then a wave and then another contraction. So with contractions, the good thing about them is that you have kind of like a breaking point that you can like catch your breath and stuff, but like but period cramps, there's no breaking. So it's like that was at least like a good part of like having contractions, I guess. It's really depending on your pain tolerance and like any experiences that you had dealing with like excruciating pain. So like if you've suffered from like pain like endometriosis, I think that's one, or like things like that, you might already be prepared for giving birth. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is something that I was not expecting at all, and I don't think people really talk about it and unless you experienced it yourself, and that is back labor. Girl. Now this was something I was completely unprepared for pain wise. So for me, it started as like a dull pain in like my spine. So I'll like maybe show a picture here, but it was like a dull pain in my spine around this area, and it kind of started there, and then the pain kind of went other places, but it was mainly localized in that little place. So the thing for back labor for me was that there was no like pauses. Like, you know how a contraction, like I was saying, a contraction comes, then there's a period where you don't have anything, then another contraction comes. For back labor, it was just a constant pain, and at first it was dull, so like I could deal with that, you know, obviously. But as labor picked up, it started to get excruciating, and for me, I had very long labors. So they were like 24 hours plus, and that's a long time to deal with like excruciating pain if you've ever dealt with that before.
We have to sit out here and wait a long periodically time.
So honestly, I haven't felt a pain like that. It literally felt like I was dying. So with back labor, I looked it up after my first birth, because I was like, I'm giving birth again, so I want to be prepared this time. So I looked up a little bit about what back labor is. There's not much information, because people still don't really know like what causes it and stuff, but they like scientists hypothesizes. Is that the right term? A hypothesis? Hypothesize? They hypothesize, I think, that some things make you more susceptible to getting back labor. Those things include your height, weight, and positioning of the baby. So I'll give you a little chart here so you can look through that. So the third thing I'm going to talk about is tearing. From my experience, is the least painful part of the whole thing. And so I've experienced tearing with both of my children. As you're pushing, it creates a lot of pressure down there. So if you like push too fast, like if you push the baby out really fast, you might tear. And depending on the tear, you might need stitches. So the sensation is like similar to like if you were to like cut your finger with like a knife or something. So every time I tore, like I knew it was happening, but quite frankly, there was so much other things going on like with my body and in my mind that like the tearing was like the least of my worries. So finally we're getting to pushing. From my experience, you'll definitely know when to push. You might feel like you need to push before you actually need to push, but that's probably just your body like getting ready to push. So I would explain this as being like similar to like a bowel movement or even like urinating. You'll know before anyone else knows probably that you need to push. And if you like try to like wait, like your body would literally do it for you. Just like if you're trying to wait to pee, you might pee on yourself, like that sort of thing. So in my experience, it doesn't really hurt. It's just a lot of pressure, like I said before. With the tearing, there's a lot of pressure down there. After you give birth to your baby, like the pain and like everything kind of just stops, and then you come back to reality. Also, a side note, people I know be worried about like pooping while giving birth, and honestly, you'll be in so much like pain or discomfort or whatever it may be that you probably won't even notice that you're pooping, or probably won't even care if you're pooping. I never asked if I did or not, and I don't think I asked afterwards either, and I never really saw anything other than like the baby, like people like the nurses and like the midwives like cleaned everything up like really quickly, so I never really saw anything. But yeah, I could have, I don't know, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter. No one is really paying that much attention, and if they are, maybe they should be paying more attention to like the baby or like you know. But yeah, it's whatever. So I have a couple more things to mention about what to expect while giving birth. I would say to definitely eat and drink as you're going into labor, as well as during the process of laboring, because you don't know how long it's going to be. Like honestly, I don't think there's anything that can really predict how long your labor is going to be. So you want to make sure that you have enough energy to go however long you need to go. But really, why you're looking at this video is probably because you're a bit anxious and nervous about giving birth. And to that, I have to say you got this, and I feel like everything will be okay for you. And I wish you a graceful labor and delivery. So with whatever type of birth you choose to have, just make sure it's 100% comfortable with you, and you keep yourself in mind first and foremost, because you will be the one that is experiencing all the experiences of giving birth. So just make sure that you keep you in the front of your mind. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope this video has helped you. Videos coming every Friday. That's the new schedule. Videos every Friday, and what are they called? Shorts every day. So stay tuned, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Anything else I can get you?